Good evening and welcome to Simplay Motorsport, and welcome to the first special event, one of two this week. We're going to have the some of the guys who's not racing tomorrow night. A few guys are here who are racing tomorrow night. There's a bit of practice here, as well as some of the guys who aren't able to race tomorrow night in the 8v8 versus Motive Racing. And this is going to be an absolute cracker of an event. We're in the Group A cars, where the Audi and the Nissan Skyline are both banned. So let's see what we have got in store tonight. We've got the Ford Sierra Cosworth with unorthodox. We've got Stealth Sloth in the Mercedes-Benz. Phil is also in the Mercedes-Benz here then. Fury's in the Cosworth. G is in the BMW. Andy in the BMW. Gary's in the Mercedes. Lewis C224. A new man to the league who will be racing in the Pro-Am next Wednesday night, so just make sure you stay tuned to see him on his debut. Well, he's making his debut for Simplay Motorsport here tonight, but we'll see him on his GT3 debut next week. DJ Phil in the Sierra Cosworth as well. Aidan Bennett in the BMW and Liam Gamer in the BMW as well. We are expecting a couple more people into the lobby. Hopefully we'll get them in as soon as possible. And at the moment we've got some cracking drivers out on the track. We've got some race winners there as well. We saw Unorthodox last week take his first win here at Simplay Motorsport in the GT3 class, race 2 at Bruno. Great drive from him in tricky, wet and foggy conditions. But what can he do tonight? Evening to Jamie Brazier in the chat, part of the Simplay Motorsport team tomorrow night, and an evening to that Buzzy Boy aka Liam Gamer. Nice to see everybody in the chat. Nice to see everybody here as well. Thank you all for joining. I'm sure we're going to bring you some fantastic racing tonight. Like I say, special event here at Simplay Motorsport. Mid-season break in our GT3 calendar, so we thought we'd chuck something in that's a little different and see what we can do from there. But at the moment, we're in a 10-minute qualifying session then. That's going to be followed by a 20-minute first race. No pit stop. So there is no pit stop in the first race, and it's going to be another 20-minute race followed by another 10-minute qualifying, followed by a half-an-hour race in which there will be a mandatory pit stop then. The track conditions are as follows. It is going to be dry with a bit of cloud maybe. Default setups, like I say, the Audi and the Nissan Skyline is banned. And it will be the same tomorrow night. So the stipulation for tomorrow night is it's 8 of the best from Simplay Motorsport, 8 of the best from Motive Racing are going to go head to head. Make sure you check out that tomorrow night, 8 PM GMT UK time. The stipulation is the team that scores the most points will win. And the points will be 16 down to 1, so everybody will score a point. And then there's a point for fastest lap. We've got Welsh in the Sierra Cosworth. We've got Sutty Apex in the Sierra Cosworth as well. Deeks in the BMW then. There is still 2 more drivers. We'll see if we get 2 drivers on. Who's going to do the first lap? It looks like Unorthodox could be the man to take us away. I know, obviously, not the usual screen you'd see for the stream. I'm in the commentary box on my own. As we've got, where is he? Andy, my fellow colleague who's normally here in the commentary box with me, is having a go and fancies his chances on his Simplay Motorsport debut tonight on the track. So an interesting battle we could have here. Got a good variety of cars, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. Gary 131 currently the man on pole position in the Mercedes-Benz. Unorthodox currently sits P2 at the moment. Phil currently sitting in P3 with Liam Gamer. Oh no, Unorthodox has just gone into P3. No, G's gone into P2, so it's a dub down to 3rd. Andy's now gone 4th. Phil's in 5th. Liam's 6th. Lewis down in 7th on his debut. Aidan's in 8th place. There's Welsh out on track. There's Sutty Apex out on track. A lot of interesting cars here. It's just a bit of a fun event tonight. Just a bit more relaxed, a bit more chilled, and hopefully we can get just some good racing. A bit of fun, good racing from all these guys. If you are new to the channel and like what you see here, please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. We'll be back to our regular viewing of GT3 in the leagues of Pro-Am and Pro Group next week, in which Welcher has a slender lead now on his title at the moment over Stealth Sloth Deeks and Big Boy Brazy, who slowly clawed his way back into it. And Master and Gary 1 point between each other and I'm sure that season's going to be absolutely fantastic coming to an end. And we'll have to make sure, you'll have to make sure, if you want to see who's going to win that one, be a part of the action. Only 4 races left: Fuji, Monza, Algarve and Imola left on that one then. So you see Emo guy at the moment just ghosting there. That's because he joined the session late. He's just ghosting so that people can't see him at the moment. So as he comes down now and sets the time and goes into P8 for the time being. Where is Sooty Apex? Track limits are on for this. We don't normally run track limits for the pro group, but tonight, we've got the track limits on. So let's see what these guys can do with that. Nice to see a few people in the chat already. Bethany Ann Duffin, the only G racing. Yeah, the only G's racing for Motive Racing tomorrow night. So yeah, they're both racing. So watch out for him. Only G, a world record holder in many cars on many tracks. So make sure you keep an eye out for him and see what he can do. We have just lost Emo Guy and Andy. I'm sure tomorrow night the gloves will be off in the commentary box between myself and Andy, cheering the Simplay on, and he's going to be wanting the Motive Racing to win as well. So make sure you be a part of that. If you do want to see some gloves off in the commentary box as well as on the track, I know a couple of our guys are going to be well up for an absolute fantastic race all round then. So at the moment we have this man, Unorthodox, on P1 at the moment as we just go on board him, and he loses his Ford Sierra Cosworth out the chicane then. Gary only half a second behind in the Mercedes-Benz, so doing a good job. One other thing to notice for tomorrow night is that the Simplay Motorsport lads will be in as red a livery as they can, and I'm not 100% sure on the colour Motive are using, but I'll double check that one with you. There is Phil just ghosting as Sooty Apex has got past him there then. We've got Andy back in the session. The only G in the white, blue and red BMW, currently P4. Phil up into third, so good lap from Phil. Fury in the blue Ford Sierra as well, currently running P5, with Welshie down in P6 at the moment, as Fury actually just crosses the line there and goes into P3. Welshie down in P6, DJ Phil in P7 at the moment for him. So not the best lap from him there that we are used to seeing from DJ Phil. He's got some good pace. Oh, that car behind nearly flipped it. Liam down in 7th place with Deeks, who was the car who nearly rolled it there, in P9. Lewis on his debut, having a good run at the moment. He's quicker than Aidan Bennett, he'll be coming up against next week. And he's also really, he's got to get used to these cars. Obviously GT3 is a lot different, which he'll be driving for the first time next week. But this so far is something he's absolutely got to have a bit of fun with, I suppose, Doing a good job. P10 at the moment. Aidan Bennett, like I say, regular in the Pro-Am group. Had to miss a few races. He is teammate to DJ Phil, but a rival tomorrow night as DJ Phil racing for Motive Racing. Gary's just set a new fastest lap of the race. Stove Sloth not yet set a lap time. Currently down in P12. Andy then back in the session in the Ford Sierra. And Sooty hasn't yet done a lap time. He gets one in now and has put it P2. So at the moment, if this is the way things are going to look tomorrow night, it's a Simplay Motorsport led by the team captain, as he promoted himself. Team captain is Gary. Sim Race Train, excited to see the friendly competition tomorrow. Indeed we are. Nice to see you here, Sim Race Train. Great to have you. What GT car is Liam using? Not 100% sure yet, Jamie. He's only joined the league today. Spoke to him earlier on. I've told him he's got to pick a car and a livery and let me know. A friend of Gary, so I'm sure Gary will be able to point him in the right direction. Sim Race Train says that he hasn't tried this car group yet. Fun, very fun. The Audi and the Skyline probably the best two cars in the category, but they are DLCs, so a bit hard to get them to allow them to be used when a lot of people may not have the DLC. So they're banned for this event. And here currently is your pole man, who is in front of him. Phil and Sooty in the pits, obviously teammates, the Run Flat Racing teammates. Then it's Stove Sloth who's about to cross the line, and does he get a lap time in? No, he does not then. So no lap time in there from Stove Sloth, but will get one more shot at the dice. Where is Gary sliding across the start line? Doesn't improve that time around, and he's pirouetting down the start straight. He may as well put that one into the pits, as that is going to ruin his last run. He might just want to get the lap in though, just to get a just to get used to the way the car handles and feels. Sooty Apex in the pits, Phil in the pits, and Aidan Bennett as well in the pit lane. So they will get no further running in here then. Unfortunate for them. Who else has just gone in the pit? Stealth Sloth. So Stealth Sloth will not take further part in this one neither. So it's Gary in the pits as well. Where is Unorthodox? He's finished qualifying, gets P3 at the moment. Fury's still on a lap. G's finished down in P5. DJ Phil's just finished down in P8. Lewis is off. That's mid-lap, so doesn't look like he's going to improve there. Liam Gamer flashing away. Flashy, flashy, flashy. Really giving it some. Sim Race Train, have to say, you and Andy do a great job with commentary. Definitely enjoy when you guys team up in the box. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words. I do believe Sim Race Train's heard us over at Motive. So very appreciate the kind words. Yeah, missed Andy last night for the Clio Cup, and I'm sure missing Andy tonight. But I wish him the best luck out on track. Fury's granddad's in with us. Fury's granddad always here to cheer on Fury. And his man currently sitting P5, but still on a lap at the moment, so we'll see what Fury can do. Jamie Brazy says, it feels weird not racing on a Wednesday. Yeah, I thought that today. It felt weird not setting the session up ready for tonight for the GT3s. But you've got tomorrow to look forward to, Jamie. You've got tomorrow to look forward to, and I'm sure with your pace we can try and get some cracking running done then. So the first qualifying of the night has been completed, and everybody has crossed the line, and it's the team captain for Simplay Motorsport, Gary131, who takes a provisional pole, pole position, sorry. Sooty Apex in P2, and that so far looks beautiful if you're a Simplay Motorsport fan. Unorthodox takes the third place, and the top step for the Motive Racing lads. Phil, fourth place, was going to run tomorrow night, but he's at work, so can't race. Fury then in P5 with GP6, two more Simplay Motorsport guys there. Welshie out qualifying DJ Phil. That's a battle to watch tomorrow night as well. Aidan Bennett in 7th with Lewis 10th. Liam Gamer 11th, Deeks 12th, Stealth Sloth 13th, and Andy not getting a timing in P14. Liam in the chat, that's savage. At least your internet won't give up and cost you. Absolute savage from Liam there, that is. Absolutely brilliant though. This is what we love to see. Good banter tonight, and we hope you can be a part of the journey and be a part of watching this as it happens and unfolds right before your eyes. So we're just waiting for the drivers to ready up. It's default setup, so I can't imagine it's going to take too long. What do we have in store tonight? And let's wait and see. Jamie feels honoured. Is that honoured to be picked tomorrow night, Jamie? It's had a very weird start grid here at Silverstone Classic, but we're getting ready. The revs are rising here. And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a great start from Gary131. Sooty got a bit bogged down, and his teammate in the GT3 Phils has got away well as well. So as Welshie, so it's a Simplay 1-4 at the moment. It's a good job it's not the league event tonight, because at the moment the Simplay lads have got a blinding start. Gary, fantastic off the line. Sooty's done a cracking job. That is Fury trying to attack Welshie then from behind. Unorthodox Paul from P3 all the way down into 6th place already. And look at Fury here. He's passed Phil and he's really hassling the back of Welshie then. Gary and Sooty go side by side into turn 3. And Fury tries to go the long way around Welshie. We'll have the inside line for this left-hand kink here. And a corner that is pretty much flat out. Maybe not in these cars. Maybe not on the pad neither. Peaceful Explosions joined us in the chat. Send it, he says, after the hashtag Sooty send it man. Gary must have had a slowdown penalty as he's really slowed down. And look at Fury here looking to hashtag Sooty send one up the inside of the master, but can't get it done. And look how wide Sooty's gone. In fact, Sooty looks like he's lost the rear of that car. He has, and he's hit team captain Gary Leach, and it's all gone wrong for them too at the start of this race. But Fury leads from the start here, and he's had a great first lap. Absolutely brilliant. Unorthodox up into P2. Sooty then P3 at the moment, ahead of his Run Flat Racing teammate Phil. Welshie's P5 with the only G, the record holder, the only G, P6. Liam's up into P7, so a good first lap for him. DJ Phil is in 8th place. Andrew down in P9th. And we're not really used to seeing Andy race much. We are over at Motive Racing, and he's all on the grass, and he's flipped it. The car's in the air, and he's rolling. Front flip, back flip, roly-poly, lands on all four wheels. Andy, that's a 10 out of 10 for your landing right there, mate. That was absolutely amazing. What a landing from Andy. But that has promoted Gary then up into that's promoted Lewis into P10, P9, Gary P10, Aidan Bennett P11, Andy is 12, and Deeks down in P13. Deeks, one of the title challengers to Welshie on a Wednesday night, and it's just here, like I say, it's just all a bit of fun. Fury then leading by 9/10 of a second from this man Unorthodox, and he's got the Sooty Send It Master on the back of him. This is on board the roof cam of Sooty Apex then, as they head down the Sierra Cosworth. Clearly looks the faster car, but is a bit of a handful. Can he hand it? As Sooty looks to send one, and Unorthodox just chops the nose off late there. These two could have had a great battle last week in the pro category in race 2. Unorthodox though was just too far in front, and for Sooty Apex here, he's really got a fight on his hands, as he knows Unorthodox is a very quick and talented driver. Took his first win at Motive last night in the Clio Cup Tier 2 category, and took his first win at Simplay last Thursday, and has made the Motive team for tomorrow night. Look at these great running from these guys. The only G's up into P5, and he's gaining. He's within that second of Phil then. So 20-minute first race here could bring any dramas, any kinds of dramas, all sorts of dramas. And that's Fury, who's made a mistake coming into the chicane, and Unorthodox has taken the lead, and Sooty Apex is going to try and follow him through, but he hasn't managed to get it done there. Phil just narrowly hanging on to a lead from the only G. Little battle between Gary gaining on the back of Liam. Who's that round? That is DJ Phil, who's lost the rear of the car at the chicane, and Liam squeezing Gary, and Gary's round. Liam's also into the wall, and whoa, the Simplay team coming together there. Lewis on debut, right behind him then. It looks like he's going to pass Gary, who's actually brought him into the league. Yes, he has. DJ Phil down in 10th, then Deeks up into P11, Aidan's 12th, and Andy having a torrid time down in P13 at the moment then. But up front, it's Unorthodox who leads by over a second to this man, Fury. Fury having to defend from Sooty Apex. Look in the background, G is trying to pull out that toe of Phil, and Phil will not give this one up. We had to fight. And G then, very quick driver, has gone round the outside of Phil. That BMW really working well there, and he's made that one stick. So good driving from G. Sooty and Fury, they tap and bump each other there. We've seen these come together at Daytona Road Course in the GT3 category, and Sooty and Fury there bumping. The gloves are off between Simplay and Motive Racing here. This is going to be absolutely stellar tomorrow night. Absolutely brilliant. We could see some epic battles up and down the grid tomorrow night. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Andy has retired from this race, I do believe. G now going to hunt down Sooty Apex. Phil will try and stay on the back of him. Gary's up to P7 after a first lap incident between the teammates. Motive Racing get in there. Come on, Fury. So it's nice to see them in the chat. Lewis on the back of DJ Phil. Liam's on the back of Lewis as well. Fury still hanging on in there. Sooty all over the back of him. Fury's got his lights on. There's a bit of a running joke in the LMP2s last week about Fury with his lights on. But he's managing to do the job from the Sooty Send It man himself. He can't get the job done, although Fury's gone a bit deep, and Sooty's tagged him, and they're both round, and this will allow Phil, who's got back through past G, up the inside, and G's lost it and smashes into the front of Fury. The two Motive Racing boys coming together as they was all round there, and that is allowed. What's Sooty doing? Sooty must have to give a place back here. Not quite sure why, but that's the case. So G up into P4 still. Phil has inherited second place. Unorthodox though, 6.8 up the road, 7 seconds now up the road. Sooty's got some work to do. Liam Gamer on the back of Deeks has gone very deep into turn 3. And that's not what Liam would have been wanting there. Andrew Clegg's had an engine blow. Oh, that's not what we needed. Poor Andy. We're not used to seeing Andy racing. Get him in the commentary box. Aidan Bennett having to defend from Liam Gamer here. Then Deeks now back up into P10. Deeks has a bit of a battered BMW, but not as bad as these two. Peaceful Explosion says tomorrow looks like it will be fun. I'm sure the gloves will be off tomorrow night. Sooty Apex then on the back of the Only G, and these two never really raced much before, and Sooty's going to try around the outside. There's only one man I know who can overtake around the outside at this chicane, and that man's sitting P7. It's this man here, Gary. He does it in the Formula Rookies as well. Really late on the brakes into this chicane is Gary. He's gaining on the back of fellow teammate tomorrow night, Welshie then. Andy says racing isn't my strong suit, I should stick to the commentary. We miss you, buddy, we miss you. Sooty though still on the back of the Only G, and he's driving a cracking race here is Sooty Apex. Absolutely brilliant stuff here from Sooty. What a drive we're seeing from him then. Absolute great stuff so far. Gaining on the back of that car, a bit slidey coming through turn 3. Can he get in that slipstream of the Only G here then? Fury's gone to telling Andy to stick to the commentary but without the accents. Sooty Apex here went round the outside of G, but then couldn't get it turned in to the corner, so gave G the place back. Lewis and Deek. Lewis is gaining on Deeks actually, or was for a second. Sooty's going to try around the outside again. G just knows where to place the car, and Sooty in this Ford looks quite rapid at the moment, but G's going to force him, and no, Sooty's got the move done. Great move there from Sooty Apex. We normally see him late on the brakes up the inside, but Sooty's showing that he can drive around the outside of cars as well. What a driver this man is. I'm sure he's going to be looking forward to tomorrow night. Bit of practice for him here. Really starting to get some wins in at Simplay Motorsport in the GT3 League. That will be a slowdown penalty for Sooty Apex there, as the Only G goes back past him then. So the gap out front is 5.3 seconds. Phil slowly gaining on Orthodubs here, so Orthodubs got to keep it clean still. 11 minutes left in this race. Gary gaining on the back of Welshie. We see Gary in the wall again. Oh, this isn't the way he's going to want to do it. He's going for an haircut after this at this time of night, so that's a poor start to his one and only race tonight. He'll be saving it for tomorrow, I'm sure. Get it all out now, Gary, and save it for tomorrow night. Yeah, well done. Round you go. I'd go for your haircut now, mate, because that is, by your standards, appalling. Sooty Apex then drifting the car around there. Fury's had a spin. So Fury's had another spin at the same corner. He had one earlier with Sooty Apex then, and that's a shame. That's promoted G onto the podium, and Sooty up into P3 now. So look at the pace. Did G have a slowdown? He must have done. There, Liam has picked up the first time penalty of the race, sitting down in P12 then. So what can G do now that he's just dropped behind him? Who made Gary captain, says Peaceful. Gary made himself captain. That was the condition in terms of him racing for us, apparently, Peaceful, was that Gary got to be captain. That's who made him captain. Aidan Bennett has now picked up a time penalty, as well as he is hunting down the back of Lewis C 224, who's doing a good job here. Not too bad on his debut night, beating a few other guys, beating Liam and Aidan, but he's racing as well against Deeks. Deeks the car in front, so he's really proven that he can race with some of these guys from the GT3 League. Obviously the GT3 car's a bit different. Oh, that's Aidan Bennett round in the background. You see Andy's car there was ghosted. Where's Aidan going? He's off to the shops, quick, before it's Thursday and you can't go because we're all trapped in the arse again. Get some milk. I'll have some green top, 4 pints please. Cheers, bud. G trying to stick to the back of Sooty within a second. And is this going to be one of the key battles we'll see tomorrow night? G and Sooty, maybe G and Gary. I expect G to be up there tomorrow night. I'll tell you now, the Only G not letting that Sierra Cosworth get away from him here at all. Really showing that he can race hard. Welcome back, Lockdown, says Jamie Brazier. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So for the guys who regularly watch here at Simplay Motorsport and aren't quite sure who the Only G is, he runs, or he helps run with Andy, Motive Racing. Go and check them guys out. We say it every week. We've got some of their guys racing with us on a Wednesday and a Thursday. We also have Andy in the commentary box. Go and check their channel out. Go to www.motiveracing.com if you'd like to get to join their league, or go ahead and check them out on Discord. Also check out their YouTube channel, guys. I myself commentate on the Clio Cup on a Tuesday night and the touring cars over there on a Sunday night. and it's brilliant, brilliant stuff. So go and check them guys out, honestly. Brilliant content throughout. You'll absolutely love it. The only G here then, P4 at the moment, trying to stick with Sooty Apex. The gap out front between Unorthodox and Phil is just stretched out a little bit here then. 6.5 seconds is the gap. But Phil managing the gap to Sooty quite nicely. That gap's 4.5 behind. Sooty's having to defend heavily from a BMW, which we didn't think would do quite a lot, being the slower car than the three available to choose from. But G's making it work. Welchie running in a good P5 in that Sierra Cosworth then. Fury down in P6, so more dramas for him maybe in this one. DJ Phil's running in 7th, so good points for him. But he's got Gary all over the back of him. And is this Gary going to make a move? We've lost someone from the race. We've had a retirement. Not quite sure who we've had retire. Someone's retired from this race. Oh, Andy has retired. Andy's name's off that list. So Andy has retired. Gary's still not yet past DJ Phil. DJ Phil's run a bit deep, and look at the run that Gary gets here. And a cracking run from Gary. And through he goes. DJ Phil all kinds of sideways there as he comes through the corner. The power of the Sierra Cosworth really makes it difficult to look at the difference in speed between the Cosworth and the Mercedes-Benz then. Gary's going to try and hang it around the outside. I think he'll get that done around the outside, but in a straight line, that Cosworth clearly the quicker car. Gary has that job done now. The only G still trying to keep on the back of Sooty Apex, doing a cracking job with 7 minutes 10 seconds left. Not sure who's had a drama there. It's a back marker. That to me looks like Liam. Yep, Liam's had a bit of a drama and has been lapped by Unorthodox and Phil. And we'll have Sooty in the only G behind in a moment as well. Aidan Bennett currently P11. Lewis on his debut P10. Deeks down in P9. DJ Phil trying to stick to the back of Gary. Fury's gaining on Welshie here. So can Fury get in front of Welshie then? A man from Tier 2, him and Jamie Brazier from, sorry, not Tier 2, the man from Pro-Am, Welshie and Jamie Brazier will make the grid tomorrow night in the 8v8, chosen, selected by myself in the squad. For many people asking, is Mazda in that squad? Mazda's not. He's away tomorrow, and that's it. Welshie's made a mistake. He's touched the grass and gone round. Fury has made sure he's got the job done and got it done with cleanly. Welshie just touched the grass there and span round. And this could be Gary getting past Welshie in a moment as well. Flashing the lights here. Come on, mate, team captain, let him through. No, don't really, don't let Gary through. Liam's been lapped then by the Only G and Sooty Apex here. This still a battle for P3 and P4. Just the gap is just at a second. So the Only G doing really well to hang in there considering that Cosworth speed. They are gaining on Phil with just 5.5 minutes remaining. Phil hasn't made any inroads on Unorthodox at all. In fact, he's lost time to Unorthodox. But these two really gaining on Phil. Phil's lap time last time round 1.5 seconds slower than Sooty and 1.4 slower than the Only G. So these boys really flying. And Phil looks like he's just struggling a little bit here in the Mercedes-Benz. Nonetheless, he's doing a good job at the moment to keep P2. Looks like though that this man could win the race here. That's Lewis tucking into the slipstream. He's actually lost out to Aidan Bennett as Lewis, but Lewis just tucking into the slipstream there. But look at the power of the four, just pull away. Absolutely brilliant in a straight line there. Liam running dead last, so Lewis has now been lapped by the leader Unorthodox. Gary's still on the back of Welshie, so Gary just cannot pass the Ford Sierra Cosworth. Jamie Brazier reckons it's the Sierra Cosworth for him tomorrow night. Gary's now got past Welshie. Welshie clearly struggling at that corner, having a few problems. Sooty's now on the back of his GT3 teammate Phil, but there's no teammates tonight. It's just an independent race for all, although it'll be a bit of a practice session for some of the lads who are taking part tomorrow night. Motive Racing, amazing commentary as usual from Matt. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate that one. Sooty now having a look, sizing up his teammate. Thought of a send-it manoeuvre, did he? No, probably not. And G, look how late G is on the brakes in that BMW. He's really gained on the back of Sutty. In fact, he's pushed Sutty through the final part of that chicane there. Sutty really slow coming out of it, so must have had a problem of some sort, because he was all over the back of Phil and then all of a sudden just didn't seem to have the pace mid-chicane. And G just came from out of nowhere to get that one done. So a fantastic job there for G. Another stipulation tomorrow night, don't forget, the top 8 cannot qualify in the race. There is 16 cars on the grid, so the top 8 cannot qualify for tomorrow's race. Tonight we'll allow it. That's Lewis, who looks like he's had another problem at turn 1, and Phil's had to go very wide as Sutty has sent one, and that's allowed G past them both. Oh, and Sutty's clipped Phil there, so G up into P2. Phil had to sacrifice it for Sutty lunging up the inside. The sacrificial pawn there was Phil, and you have to feel that Sutty was a bit too sharp there. Gary's disconnected, he's probably gone for his haircut. So we'll bid Gary a good farewell and hope to see him race a lot better tomorrow night. So at the moment, DJ Phil chasing down Welshie. This could be a battle to watch tomorrow. We've seen these battle in the Pro-Am category on a Wednesday night in the Lamborghini. No doubt they are going to have a good battle tomorrow as well. Deeks currently 30 seconds off the back of this battle. Aiden 18 seconds off the back of him. Lewis 14 seconds off the back of Aiden. And Liam 17 seconds off the back of Lewis. But Welshie and DJ Phil are about to lap Liam here. That Cosworth, that Sierra Cosworth sounds absolutely brilliant. Kieran Argent in the chat, nice to you here, Kieran. Just let me know, Kieran, if you want an invite for the second race. There is space on the grid if you'd like to get on and have a race for the second part of this one. There is space on the grid. That's Liam very wide at the chicane, flicking up the tyres. Oh, and just catching DJ Phil. Don't know if he was trying to move out of the way, but he just caught the side of DJ Phil there. But Welshie's managed to get stay in front of DJ Phil. Phil now gaining within a second of the only G. Sutty's dropped well off the back of these after a spin early on. But it's unorthodox so far with a minute and a half left, who leads this race and hasn't been troubled since Gary and Sutty had the problem lap 1. So let's make sure that this doesn't happen tomorrow night by the Simplay boys. Due on is tomorrow, 8 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock GMT, 8 PM that is, for 8v8 Simplay Motorsport versus Motive Racing in what should be an absolute cracking battle throughout. We should see some gloves off racing. It's just a bit of fun as well. There's nothing going to be, you know, I don't think there's going to be many things to review and to look at. It is just a bit of fun. As much as they're going to race each other hard and clean, it's just, you know, it's a mid-season break for us. Motive don't do anything on a Thursday, so it is just a nice little fun race then. So Phil trying to gain on the back of the only G, but this man unorthodox hasn't put a foot wrong. Phil actually has a time penalty, so does Fury, Aiden and Lewis. Liam's retired from this race, but this man's not put a foot wrong with 20 seconds left on the clock. Is he going to take the race win we've expected him to take so far today, because he's been brilliant in this first race tonight? There is a half-an-hour race next time around with a mandatory pit stop, so that one will be one to keep an eye on. Unorthodox coming into the final half of this track now. Just a right-hander and the chicane to go. And we'll see what Unorthodox can do here. He's had a good race as Unorthodox. He's driven absolutely brilliant here then, and he's going to come into the final chicane now, and he's going to take the first win. I hope for Simplay's sake this doesn't happen tomorrow night, but a great win for Unorthodox in race 1 tonight. The only G looks like he's going to take race 2, so going forward to tomorrow, it's going to be a Motive 1-2 ahead of tomorrow night. Oh, this isn't what we want, boys. But the Only G will take a second place here on his debut at Simplay Motorsport as well. So second place for the Only G. Phil will come home in third after his teammate had to sacrifice for his GT3 teammate Sutty, who lunged up the inside. Fury's going to come home P5 with Welshie finishing P6. When he eventually gets to the line. So Welshie finishes P6. DJ Phil looks like he's going to come home and take P7 then. Deeks is going to come home in P8 when we can get to him. Aidan Bennett's finished P9 and Lewis has finished P10. So we are just awaiting this man Deeks, who currently sits second to Welshie in the championship. Dan Davis, Motive all the way. No, Dan, no. Simplay. Part of the Motive team tomorrow, so he'll be absolutely buzzing about that one and be wanting to pick that Sierra Cosworth tomorrow night, I'd imagine. And as Deeks comes towards the end of his lap and the first race, good start for Deeks. And in fact, I don't even think he got a chance to finish it. No, he did finish the race. So Unorthodox takes the win, the fastest lap as well from the Only G. Phil gets P3 with Sutty in 4th, Fury 5th, Welshie in P6, DJ Phil 7th, Deeks 8th, Aidan Bennett 9th, Lewis P10, Liam Gamer P11 retired, and Andy retired lap 1. So did Stealth Sloth. So we're all going to get ready for race 2. A 30-minute race followed by a 10-minute qualifying, followed by a 30-minute race. Tomorrow night the top 8 will not be allowed to qualify. Tonight it's fine to do so. And this will be followed with a... You have got to pit in this race, so there is a mandatory pit stop. Just give the drivers a few seconds to make sure they're all ready to go. So we just going to give them all a few moments. We'll just wait for the thumbs up to appear on the screen so that we know the drivers have stayed in the same cars and will be raring to go in just a moment. Yeah, you're allowed to change car tonight. Obviously not tomorrow, but tonight you're allowed to change car. We'll let that one G. 15 people in the chat. Let's get 15 likes on this video if we can. Let's get as many likes as possible on this one. What is G changing to here then, I wonder? As Dean Wasaki's join me in the commentary box. Evening, Dean.
Good evening.
We're well.
Yeah, all is well.
Are you coming in for this next race or?
Yeah, can do, yeah.
Ah, brilliant. I'm just sending you an invite. So G has changed to the Sierra Cosworth. We've lost Aidan Bennett, so we'll see if he'll come back in and able to try and go back for the first race. Yeah, no worries, Aidan. That's fine. We'll catch you next week. Definitely the Sierra, says Jamie Brazier. We are just going to wait then for Dean Wasaki to get in the party. A racer for tomorrow night, who we are hoping can bring Simplay Motorsport the glory with his teammates. Lewis Canham, hard graft this is. Yeah, you wait till next week when the league racing's back, Lewis. You'll see some hard graft then. Right, so we are going to get the second qualifying underway. There is 10 minutes to qualify, so there is time for Dean to get in. Are you looking forward to tomorrow night, Dean?
Yeah, can't wait.
And what do you think the chances of the Simplay v Motorsport is going to be? What do you think Simplay's chances are?
I think they've got a good chance. There's some fast drivers in there. You've got Gary, you've got Sutty. There's a few others that are quite fast as well,
Big Boy Brazier obviously joins the team as well tomorrow night, replacing Keeks.
I don't really want to brag or anything, but I'm not too bad.
Brilliant. They've got world record holder Only G in their side though. Worried about that one?
No, not really, no.
I love your confidence, Dean. Absolutely brilliant. Love the confidence.
All about Simplay.
It is. Up the Simplay Motorsport. You actually missed Gary earlier, spinning around Like, I don't know what. So Sooty Apex in then at the moment. Emo guy as well. He's in. We didn't see him in race 1, but he's there in the Sierra Cosworth. Welshie still in the same car. Deeks in the Sierra Cosworth as well. Oh, he's got his hands full there. Unorthodox stays in the Sierra Cosworth. Stealth Sloth goes into the Sierra Cosworth. Phil is in the Sierra Cosworth. Fury's in the Sierra Cosworth. OG's in the Sierra Cosworth. I think there's a bit of a theme here. Andy's in the Sierra Cosworth. Andy, though, look at this. By the way, who could qualify? Everybody can qualify, Phil. Everybody can qualify for tonight. Everyone can qualify. G says, is it top 8 can't qualify? That's going to be tomorrow night, G. Tonight's just a bit of fun, bit of practice for everybody for tomorrow, or for the guys that's not racing tomorrow to have a bit of fun. So everybody can qualify. I'd just like to point out Andy, representing Simplay Motorsport in the red and white. Yeah, boy. Up the Simplay from Andy there, look, loving life. Joins us on a Wednesday and a Thursday night for the Pro and Pro-Am commentary. And I joined him on a Tuesday over at Motive for the Clio commentary. But look at him, representing the Simplay in the red and white colours. Beautiful livery there. Lewis stays in the Mercedes. DJ Phil stays in the Cosworth. And Liam as well in the BMW then. We still await Dean Wasocki to join us.
It's slowly joining.
So Sooty Apex stays in his Sierra Cosworth, and he kind of sacrificed Phil getting a P2 earlier, as Dean is now in the lobby, and I do believe Dean will be in the Sierra Cosworth. Shock. I think we've got a running a theme for tomorrow night. Jamie Brazier, should we rename the Simplay Motorsport should we rename this the Simplay Motorsport Sierra Cosworth special event? I'd love to if we were sponsored by them, but we're not. If Ford are watching, and I highly doubt that, and you want to sponsor the channel for tomorrow night's event, get in touch, simplaymotorsport@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook. And if Ford is watching and they want to sponsor the event tomorrow night, brilliant. We applaud that, and we welcome that with open arms as well. Get a good sponsor for tomorrow night. Absolutely fantastic. I somehow think Ford aren't watching to sponsor the channel. Jamie says he'll see what he can arrange. Absolutely brilliant. So at the moment we've got Deeks in the pits and Liam Gamer sat in the pits. Liam, actually your nephew, Dean, the first time actually going to race against Liam on a live event.
I know.
Hey, looking forward to that one?
Yeah.
Bit of rivalry between the family. We see it a lot from the Leach brothers.
Yeah, a little bit of banter through them.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah. Loving it, innit? We also see it between the Leach brothers and Stealthsoft and Welshie on a Wednesday night. Obviously, I think Stealthsoft is Welshie's brother-in-law, if I am correct. So we see a good little rivalry there. Obviously, Keegs, Welshie's son. So before she does get promoted and Stealthsoft next season, we'll have 3 family members in one group, as well as Gary and Little Leach. So it'll be a sibling group, pro group. Yeah, that Sierra is ridiculous, by the way. Yeah, Gary, that's why you need to get better and use that car tomorrow, because its top speed is immense compared to the other cars. Sooty Apex then, is that passing? He's passing Lewis there, the newbie tonight, and that's just behind G, I do believe, running in the blue and white Sierra Cosworth. Sooty in the red and white. So just for tonight, we're going to say that Andy is part of Simplay, as he's there. I can get my work to sponsor us. We're Ford approved. That's brilliant, Jamie. By your work, is that the chapel you go to on a Wednesday night, or? Gary's going to get some laps in later in the Sierra. So let's see what we can do then. First lap times come in by Emo Guy, 134.7 and a 132.5 from the only G. Unorthodox has gone P2. Lewis has gone into 4th. Sooty had a lap time invalid. Come on, Sooty, sort it out. He's in the pits. Phil's gone P3 and his Sierra Cosworth down 1.7 off of the only G's time. So let's see what these boys are capable of in this car.
But to admit though, Matthew, the tyres burn up very quickly in the Sierra Cosworth.
Yeah, do you know something? I was on with Peaceful Explosion and Sooty earlier today, and they said the exact same thing, that the tyres really do burn up. As Andy, representing Simplay, has gone P5. Welshie's gone currently P7 at the moment. So we've got Dean, Sooty, Deeks, Stealth Sloth, Fury, DJ Phil and Liam, who's not said a lap time. Liam, straight on at turn 3 there. And around he goes, so hopefully We'll have a safe rejoin. That was DJ Phil just going past him there. Sutty was saying the same up front in the first race, as was Welshie. Kieran, we've sent you an invite, mate. You have just got a couple of minutes to get on. You have been an invite has been sent. So, Kieran, there is a chance for you to get on. So if we can get Kieran in, we'll have a 15-car grid. Just watching DJ Phil here come to the end of his lap to complete it. G currently on pole. In fact, G has just extended his pole time. He's gone even faster, 2.1 in the lead from Unorthodox is the only G. He goes back into the pits with 4 minutes remaining. Unorthodox has improved on his time, so has Phil, but not enough to change them around. That's Welsh in the background dancing around with the car. One thing that's going to be interesting tomorrow night, Dean, is the pit entry. It's a very tricky one to get right.
Yeah, it is.
DJ Phil crosses the line and goes P6. So a good lap from DJ Phil, that. Good time from him. Deeks coming towards the end of his lap. So is Dean. Liam's not. Sutty's still in the pits a minute. So let's jump on board Deeks. Oh, I tell you what, I don't miss this problem where we've got DEA and DEA twice. Oh, I do not miss that. Dean obviously runs on a Thursday night in the Pro category. Deeks challenging for the Pro-Am title. Oh, and gets that horribly wrong. Gets a lap time invalid as he smashes the tyres there. So that's not good. There will be tyres across the track as Dean into the chicane then. So what can Dean do as he crosses line? Nothing. So that must have been an out lap. Liam Gamer, where's he on track? Mid-sector at the moment. Stealth Sloth currently is down in P10. In his Sierra Cosworth, trying it out. The only G, 131.9 at the moment, 1.059 ahead of Unorthodox. Unorthodox and G in the pit lane then, so if they don't get out soon, they won't get under the lap timing. Cosworth is crazy quick, says the only G. Kieran Hasjohn can really throw the Sierra about by the looks of it. Yeah, it looks like you can, Gary. I'm sure your wheel will absolutely love that if you can throw the Sierra about. We know how you love to just chuck them in. Saw that last night in the Renault Clios. Phil currently P3 in his Sierra Cosworth, so good luck for Phil. Fury's up into P4 ahead of Emo Guy. We know them two work well together at times. And teammates here at Simplay Motorsport is EF Racing in the Nissan. Then on a Thursday night, well, she's currently sitting 6th ahead of Simplay Motorsport. Andy. Surprised Andy didn't leave to change his livery. I'm coming for some stick with that one. He's abandoned Motive and is joining us here at Simplay. DJ Phil down in P8. Lewis is 9th at the moment ahead of Stealth Sloth. Dean Wasocki's just about to cross the line and narrowly avoids that. Deeks? No, that's not Deeks. Narrowly avoids somebody, and Dean goes up into P7 then at the moment. Deeks hasn't set a lap time yet, and Liam down in P14 hasn't set a lap time neither.
I don't know if you've realised as well, Matt, with the engine as well.
What's that?
The engine at the minute is on 4, the damage.
Oh, the for the mechanical failures and things like that,
yeah.
For the engine damage. Oh, interesting. So it clearly doesn't like to be on the edge of the gearbox and stuff. Maybe some short shifts for the guys who run manual gears then. That might not be the way to go in a half-an-hour race. G currently in the pits. Unorthodox back on track. Where is Phil? He's just crossed the line. No improvement from him. Fury still in P4. Emo Guy coming around sort of the middle of the circuit. He's P5. Well, she crosses the line. No improvement from him. Dean's coming towards the end of a lap. Andy's just about to cross the line and does, and improves and goes P5. So a good lap from him. Where's DJ Phil? He's just finished a lap down in P9. Lewis, he's coming down towards turn 3. Liam Gamer's at turn 3. He's managed to do a lap and he's P11. Stealth Sloth struggling in that Sierra Cosworth. That is, I think that's Andy behind him. Now Andy's just done a lap, so I can't be Andy. He's ghosting. Sutty Apex still in the pits. Deeks currently P14 on track at the moment. Gary says they were saying that earlier as well regarding the engine. How Stealth Sloth blew up turn 1 as well in the first race. So maybe we need to turn the mechanical failures off then for this one. And oh, that's Stealth Sloth. No, that's not Stealth Sloth, that's Deeks. No, it's not Deeks, but Deeks has finished his qualifying anyway. That was Phil, I think, round. Unorthodox there. Fury's cross the line, stays P4. Where is Unorthodox? What time is he going to do? He's going to be the next man to set a lap time. So we'll see what Unorthodox can do here then. 17 people watching in the stream. If you are watching, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and give the lap video a big thumbs up. This is your race 1 winner, Unorthodox. What's he going to do here? We saw Sutty and Gary take a 1-2 in race 1. And Unorthodox stays second. G's currently provisional pole. Fury third. Andy's up into fifth, but Andy's in red and white, so he's representing Simplay clearly.
The tyres are just shot on that.
And he's up by half a second here, is Andy. So that'll put him P4. It'll only move him up above Fury. Won't put him above Phil. Or Unorthodox, aka Dan Davis. Crosses the line and does go P4. So a good lap from him. Welshie crosses P7. Dean Wasoki's P8. DJ Phil's P9. Lewis has finished P10. Deeks P11. Liam P12. We are awaiting Stealth Sloth, the only man to finish a lap time at the moment then. So Sutty didn't actually do a lap in the end and will start P14. So not what we wanted to see there from the Sutty Send It master. Or is he going to send some from the back of the grid towards the front? We'll wait and see in this one. And here comes Stealth Sloth. Just a couple of seconds to move him up the order, and I don't think it has there. I think Argent's in the game, but I don't think he can join the server. Do you want to get him in the party, Dean? And we can use him on commentary as well, if he wants to. So G on pole position from Unorthodox. We saw a Simplay 1-2 race 1. We've got a Motive Racing 1-2 race 2. Obviously this is going to count tomorrow night. This counts for nothing tonight. Phil currently P3 with Andy in 4th, representing Simplay, looking the red and white colours. He absolutely loves it. Fury in 5th with Emo Guy into P6. Welshie sits P7. Dean Wasoki in 8th. DJ Phil Green P9. Lewis in 10th. Deeks P11. With Liam Gamer 12th. Stealth Sloth 13th. And Sutty Apex didn't do a lap. P14. I hate G, says Dan Davis, aka Unorthodox, and I love you too, says the only G. So the drivers are going to ready up. So it's G and Unorthodox row 1. Row 2 is Phil and Andy. Row 3, Emo Guy and Fury. Teammates actually here at Simplay Motorsport. Row 4, Welshie and Dean. They'll be teammates tomorrow night, not teamed up yet. Welshie and Dean, but they team up tomorrow night. DJ, Phil and Lewis on row 5. Yep. Row 6 is Liam and Stealth Sloth and Sutty on his own on row 13. Dan Davis says, love you too, babes. Ah, it's lovely that to see. And it's lights out and away we go here for race 2, and that is a cracking start from Phil then. Up already. Deeks has left the session, so we've lost Deeks, but it's Phil, an Emo Guy, 1-2 at the moment. And look at this, great start from the two gold and black coloured cars there. I think that was Lewis round with DJ Phil. Sutty's gone up into P11 now due to them two spinning, but it's Emo Guy who leads from Phil. Unorthodox up to 3rd. Welshie's up into P4. Who was that? That was Dean Wasoki all sideways with the rear. That's Phil leaning on Fury, and Fury and Emo Guy on the grass. So Phil will lead from Welshie, from Dean Wasoki, and look at this. It's a Simplay Motorsport 1, 2 and 3 with G wide, and Dean's pushed his teammate for tomorrow wide, allowing the only G up past the both of them then, as they make a mistake. And that's not what we want to see. Gary, you need to sort these lads out tomorrow. Here's Andy, Simplay Motorsport. Andy right behind Dean. Sutty Apex half a lap in, and he's gone from 13th on the grid to P6. So a good start to this race for Sutty Apex then. Fury lost out down to P7. Liam's up to 8th. Unorthodox down to 9th after qualifying P2, so not sure what's happened to him. Emo Guy's down to 10. Lewis is P11. Stealth Sloth's 12th with DJ Phil 13th. But it's Phil and G who had a good battle in race 1 are going to carry on their battle here in race 2. But Phil currently 1.8 ahead of the only G. And it's Dean and Andy who are battling it out. Welshie ahead of Sutty then. And they're side by side as they come into the chicane. Is Sutty brave enough to go around the outside? Gary is. Sutty's not. Dean makes a mistake and Andy gets through. And that's actually held up Welshie, who's held up Sutty. And Fury spins behind Sutty then. Dean's little mistake cost a few people. Alfie's in the chat. Evening, guys. This looks great. Shame I am missing. Great special event. See you all in the next round. Yeah, we'll see you there, Alfie. After a good start, Dean has just punted Andy in the rear there. Andy's managed to keep it on track. Well, she's off at turn 1. So Dean now running P3 with Andy 4th, Sutty 5th. Welshie down to 6th, and Orthodub is up to 7th. Liam Gamer, we just saw around. Fury's 8th, Liam Gamer around. He's rejoining now, but Emo Guy will go up to 9th. Lewis P11 with Stelfsloth 12th. DJ fell over the back of him for 13th. The gap for the lead then, 3 seconds back to Dean Wysocki, as Phil only has half a second to the Only G. And we know the Only G is absolutely rapid. Let's see what he can do. Look at the 3 red and white liveries behind. This is what we could see tomorrow of Dean, Sutty and Andy. Obviously minus Andy, he'll be joining me in the commentary box. But Sutty has got past Andy then for P4, and it's a Motive Racing 1, 3, 4 and it's a Simplay Motorsport 1, 3, 4 and 5. We're counting Andy in this one as he's in the red and white colours. He's not going to get away with that. G though really hassling the back of Andy here. Excuse the dog in the background. Bonfire night obviously tomorrow night. The fireworks clearly setting the dog off. Obviously not a fan of fireworks, Dean.
No, not.
Bless him. Bless him. Feel for the dogs on bonfire night, I really do. But here is G, 8.3 up on his last lap. You can probably tell from it being the opening lap of the race. And G really putting the pressure on Phil, but Phil driving that Ford Sierra Cosworth like a dream. Dean's lost out 2 places to Sutty and Andy then. Can he gain on the back of them coming through the chicane? Look at Andy, a bit of tyre smoke there. And Dean getting that rear all sticking out. Unorthodox is gaining on the back of this. And Andy must have had a slowdown penalty because Dean didn't get the greatest runs through the chicane, but flies past him as if he's going backwards. So Andy down to 5th, Dean up into P4. And can he keep with his teammate for tomorrow night, Sutty Apex, and rival on a Thursday night normally, Sutty Apex then. The battle out front though, G has got past Phil and that gap's 0.3 of a second already. Will Phil use his teammates' tactics? And Sutty send one, and G's lost the rear there. He's managed to hang on to that beautifully there then, and Phil has stormed up the inside and gets back past G for the lead, but G lost a lot of time there with that back end drifting round turn 3. And as they come down the back straight, which I do believe is the hanger straight now, I'm not 100% certain on that, but they come down it now, and G then work to do to get back past Phil, but Sutty Apex will be closing in, that can be assured. Dean's trying to stay with Sutty Apex as he's got Andy up his inside. Andy can't get it done at the corner so far, and Andy's still right behind Dean using that slipstream. He's got an Orthodox just behind him as well. And Dean Wysocki stays in front of Andy for the time being. Runs a bit wide onto the grass, but so does Andy. Unorthodox could capitalise on the both of them here. Andy's going to be on the inside line of Dean Wysocki as they come into the left-hander. Flat out through here. Dean's had to lift as he's drifted very wide there. And hopefully he keeps the car straight. It's sideways, it's sideways, it's sideways, it's in the wall. And Andy now defending from Unorthodox has a slowdown on Unorthodox. Through he goes. Dean driving so well until he got onto the grass and just lit up the rears there. Andy quick through the chicane. Dean's dropped down to P9. Emo Guy recovering from P8. Who else we got recovering? Fury's recovering. He's up into P6, but he's got Welshie on the back of him. Phil has lost the lead, and that gap is near enough a second already. So a great drive here from the Only G. Again, seeing brilliance from him. And is this the way this is going to go tomorrow? I hope not. Sutty didn't qualify, so hopefully he'll qualify for race 1 tomorrow night. He's gaining on the back of Phil. Hopefully Sutty won't sacrifice Phil like he did earlier in the round. Unorthodox though ahead of Andy for P4 and 5 on track. And Welshie still hassling, well, was hassling the back of Fury. He's on the grass, so that's not what he wants. Emo Guy will gain on Welshie rapidly here then, as Welshie will be getting back up to speed, as will Dean Wysocki close the gap to him a little bit. Liam Game has picked up a time penalty. He's got 12 seconds between him and his Uncle Dean. So can he close that gap? He's not going to do it deep in the corner like that, but new to the game, he's only had the game about a month and a half as Liam, and he's already picked up a first podium at Simplay Motorsport. Never driven these cars before this week. So hats off to you. DJ Phil down in P11, Stelfsloth's 12th currently, and Lewis down in 13. Lewis will be new to the Simplay Motorsport grid next week in the Pro-Am category. The Only G drifting there, beautifully done. And comes over the line. Mandatory pit stop in this race, don't forget. G, 0.8 of a second ahead of Phil. Sutty's 2.7 off the lead as well. Oh, and G clatters that first curve. That's not something you want to do. It's a high first curve, so you don't really want to be touching that much. Liam's lost out to DJ Phil somewhere, but he's on the back of him. Or it says he's on the back of him, although the timing screen says they're 3 seconds between each other, but they're not. He is right on the back of DJ Phil, is Liam here, and he's going to brake a lot later than DJ Phil and really closes up under braking. Emo Guy's now on the back of Andy. You see Dean Wasocki there has got past Welshie, so has Emo Guy, so maybe problems for Welshie again. But Phil still within 7/10 of a second of only G then. It's a great drive from Phil. Lewis looks like he's about to get lapped. We're only on the 5th lap of the race. Oh, I thought Phil ran wide there for a second, but he hasn't. He's managed to keep it going. Emo Guy gaining on Andy then. Good little race this. Good little cars to drive these for a bit of a special fun event. Liam again within a second of DJ Phil. Oh, he's not now. He's well off the back now then, as he's lost the rear of that car. I was unfortunately span around. DJ Phil will now cruise and have a lovely gap. Liam has a time penalty as well. Don't forget the mandatory pit stop still to be served by everybody. Oh, and G's round at the chicane, and he's lost it on his own at the chicane, and Phil leads from Sutty. Unorthodox is going to take P4. Here comes Fury into P5. Where's Andy? Andy not near G, so G will be able to resume racing here. Oh, disappointing for G there. He was absolutely going well, keeping the gap to Phil, and he's just lost it going into the chicane. Probably still learning the Sierra Cosworth a little bit. And that has unfortunately ultimately ended him up being P5, but it's not just a Simplay 1-2, it's a run flat racing 1-2, which we've not actually seen at Simplay Motorsport yet this season, and Lewis spins and somehow doesn't collect Phil there. Hopefully he stays to the side of the road, rejoins safely. Yep, rejoins nice and safely there as Unorthodox gets through. Fury should come through as well. Emo Guy still trying to chase down Andy then. Dean's trying to gain on the back of these guys. Welshie just trying to do something to gain on the back of Dean Wasocki. Phil 5 seconds behind Welshie. Liam's 8 seconds behind DJ Phil. Stovsloff's only 3 seconds behind Liam, and Lewis, oh, he's off again, bless him. He's still learning, so, you know, he's got time to pick it up, although he's changing to the GT3s. That will be Dean Wasocki to lap him here, and he stays out the way. Nice and easy. Phil, though, leads. Battle on track at the minute. The only battle on track. This one's within a second. Andy to Emo Guy. Andy bigging up the Simplay Motorsport colours here then. Really looks like he wants to do well. Could Lewis not join an existing team for next week? Lewis couldn't easily join an existing team. Deeks is still looking for a teammate. With Ben not racing recently, so there is a chance for Deeks to get a teammate. Oh, Emo Guy's lost the rear of the car there and has dropped it, binned it at the chicane, and Dean Wasocki will gain P7. That is Lewis, who's going to unlap himself then. Cautiously watches as Emo Guy rejoins. Unorthodox is gaining on the back of Sutty, so let's watch this for P2. Yeah, Jamie, he could easily join Deeks at Team DPR. Could also join Big Chungus if that was a one to play out at Monk Motorsport. I think that's about it in terms of teams that's only running with one driver in the Pro-Am category. If he wants to enter as an independent, because he might want to use a different car, that's fine. But can easily, if he wants to drive the Lamborghini, join Monk Motorsport or Team DPR then. For this season, obviously, we'll have to race in their liveries. But that will be no problem. I do believe Monk Motorsport, Big Chungus racing the 666 red and black Lamborghini, which means I think there's a black and yellow, which is quite nice. He could race in for Monk Motorsport. Unorthodox looking really quick here compared to Sutty Apex. Sutty, I don't know if he's had a bit of a problem or what, but that gap 0.3 of a second, and Sutty's doing everything he can in his power to keep Unorthodox behind him here. Yeah, everybody does drive the Lamborghini boss. Swimfins, Alfie, Rabbit Joe and Liam Gamer. Unorthodox looking around the outside, and Sutty's too clever to let Unorthodox pass him round there. We'd have seen a great battle last week between these two had we have had about 5 more laps. Bruno in race 2, what is round 12 of the season here at Simplay Motorsport. Join us next week for the Pro-Am category Wednesday night and the Pro category Thursday night, 8 PM GMT UK time, for the second night race of the season at Fuji. Should be an absolute cracker of a race. But it's Phil at the moment on lap 8, leading from Sutty Apex then. who's got it horribly wrong, and Unorthodox tried to go up the inside, but as Sutty was sort of losing the rear end, Unorthodox was as well, and he's dropped to P4, down to P5 then, so Fury now inherits third place. G's gone back up to fourth, Unorthodox is fifth, Andy 3 seconds off the back of Unorthodox in P6 at the moment. Dean's only 2.8 off the back of Andy, so not looking too bad for Dean. Go on, Dean, keep it going, mate. Doing quite well. Emo Guy down in 8th place, hasn't seemed to make any inroads on Dean Wasocki at all here. DJ Phil Green, Welsh is down in 9th, just lapping Lewis at the moment. DJ Phil Green is 10th place with Liam Gamer down in 11th. He's got Stealth Sloth not too far behind him, 8.5 seconds. And with Stealth Sloth being in that Sierra Cosworth, I fancy Stealth Sloth to get past him here. Still with 17 minutes remaining. Lewis P13 and a lap down. But Phil looks good for his money. 17 minutes remaining here. I mean, the mandatory pit stop isn't on, so I mean, I hope the guys are listening and know that it is a mandatory pit stop race. It will be tomorrow night for race 2 anyway, because whatever laps they do tonight, I'm jotting down and making sure that it is laps so I can turn the mandatory pit stop on. But Phil leads from his Run Flat Racing teammate Sutty Apex, who's got Fury 1.5 behind him here. I feel that Sutty's just pacing himself. I don't feel he's pushing that Sierra. I think he knows that Phil's well out in front. He ruined Phil's first race. And I think he's just trying to keep the gap, maintain the gap. G down in P4, doing a good job. Unorthodox running 5th, has Andy 4 seconds behind. Andy has Dean 3.5 behind. It was 3.8 last time we looked at it. Dean just a bit deep into that corner, so not where he'd have wanted. But Andy doing well. Lewis is in the pit lane then, so he's obviously listening that it's a mandatory pit stop. Hopefully everybody else is. So Lewis into the pits. So let's see what happens here. Phil has a 3.7 second gap to Sutty Apex then. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night dealing with Andy in the commentary box, because it's going to be no old barge. If our boys do well, it's going to be like I'm at the football game. It's yes, come on boys. Phil, he's lost it in the pit entry, and around he goes, spinning like a ballerina. And Sutty's going to inherit the lead because Phil is in the pits. G will go to 3rd, Unorthodox up to 5th. Andy should take P6 from Phil then at the moment. Yes, he will. Dean stays out, P7. Emo Guy, is he going to stay out then? Let's have a look. Yep, he stays out. Welshie well behind at the minute, and has DJ Phil on the back, or gaining on the back of him then. So the gap for the lead, half a second then from Sutty to Fury. Can't believe Phil's just lost it there in the pits on his own. Oh, what was he doing? Emo Guy's only just got past Phil, so Emo Guy must have had a problem himself coming round. No different to normal. I'll still be shouting, Beth, but I'll be cheering on my boys. Normally I don't cheer on anybody because I'm an unbiased commentator. But tomorrow night I'll be cheering on the Simplay Motorsport, and I hope that Fury won't do that to Sutty tomorrow. And I tell you what, I thought Fury had pulled off the hashtag Sutty send it manoeuvre, but Sutty manages to get the door firmly shut on him there. Fury has his lights on. Why does he need his lights on in a day race? I think this was a discussion the other day. Why does Fury need his lights on a day race? But oh well, he's got them on. I think Emo Guy was having a joke with him Saturday night with that one, with Andy in the commentary box. Sutty heavily defending. Has Phil just took this race win away, by the way, after spinning in the pit lane at pit entry. Sutty cut the chicane there. I don't know what Sutty was doing, but he cut the chicane massively. G stays out, Unorthodox stays out, Andy stays out. Dean Wasocki has dropped off the back of Andy then, so a bit of a problem maybe for Dean. He stays out as well. Emo Guy is going to stay out then. Oh dear, from Dean. He's lost it down the main straight, look. Oh, and he's just going to use the... Oh, you don't want to do that in the Sierra. You don't want to get them tyres up that much. So Fury in the lead then had to give the lead up. I don't know if Sutty was trying to pit and ended up just missing pit entry and ended up having to cut the chicane a little bit and have to give the place back. But he's got G all over the back of him now, and Sutty may have just messed up this one, so the boys clearly needing some pit practice here. Obviously, Phil not able to join us tomorrow night. He is at work, so we hope he'll be able to jump on every now and again on the stream. Support the lads on. Sooty Apex then defending from Phil. Welshie in the pits. So it's only the Simplay lads who's pitted at the minute. I hope the Motive boys know to pit. So Lewis, Welshie, Phil pitted at the moment. G is going to go around the outside of Sooty Apex and gets that move done. Brilliant move there from the only G. Absolutely fantastic driving from him. Great stuff, great manoeuvre. Sooty left for dead there. Fury hasn't pitted. G hasn't pitted. Sooty is coming into the pits. Unorthodox stays out. Andy, is he going to stay out then? Welshie coincidentally still in the pit lane. Long pit stop for him. Andy flashing Lewis, and Lewis stays wide. Andy doesn't pit. Emo Guy, who's managed to get past Dean after Dean had his spin earlier on. Is Emo Guy going to pit here then? Nope. Dean's coming in. Oh, I think he's took the chicane wrong. Oh, is he going? He's held that beautifully as Dean there. Well held, Dean. Phil's already pitted. DJ Phil Green, is he going to come in for his pit stop then? 11 minutes, just under 12 minutes, sorry, on the clock. So Dean and Sooty in the pit. Sooty's just leaving the pits as Dean just enters. DJ Phil does not pit here. Stealth Sloth pretty much a lap down, but G gaining on the back of Fury then as they just put a lap on Liam Gamer. And Liam Gamer, look at that, he has a look up the inside of the only G there trying to unlap himself. Go on, son. G trying to put the pressure on Fury here and maybe make his way past. Is Fury going to sacrifice the place for G? No, he's just tricking him a little bit there by going defensive and coming back across into the braking zone.
Long pit.
Oh, Liam's lost it in the background. You what, Dean, sorry?
Long pit that way.
Yeah, it is a long pit lane from entry to exit.
No, we're in pits for quite a while there.
Oh, fair play.
22 seconds.
Dean is just coming out the pits now. G's gone into the pit lane then. So G's in the pits. Fury is not as of yet. Who's that in the pits as well? Stealth Sloth is in the pit lane. So Fury stays out. G in the pits. Unorthodox coming into the pits. Andy staying out at the moment. Welchie is just past Liam. Well, Andy stays out. What is Emo Guy going to do here? So this is a chance for Sooty Phil to reclaim places over Unorthodox and G. Whether they will or not is another question. Unorthodox just into his pit box now. G sat waiting to be released. Lollipop Man lifts his lid. Stealth Sloth is away. Where is Sooty? So Sooty will re-overtake the only G and Unorthodox. Sooty's well past G before G's even released from the pit box. Has Phil also redone them? He's done Unorthodox. Has he done G? G's coming down to the pit exit now, and Phil, yeah, back up into P5. Unorthodox still sat in the pit lane. Where's Dean? Dean's too far behind to gain on Unorthodox. DJ Phil has hit the tyre wall at the last chicane and a span. He's rejoining now. Oh, we've lost, I do believe, a driver. We've lost Liam from the race. He's retired from the race then. Unorthodox still sat in the pit lane at the minute. This is a long old pit stop for Unorthodox here. DJ Phil up to P7. Dean has pitted. Unorthodox is still in the pit box, so Unorthodox may lose out to Dean Wasaki here. What a horrible pit stop for Unorthodox, and he is in fact just pulling out his pit box as Dean Wasaki sails past him at full speed. So Dean up to P9. That's Welshie off. And who else was that off there? Andy as well. Oh, so Welshie and Andy well off into the grass. What has happened there? I'm not quite sure. Andy's not got the car going. Uses the reset button. Oh, tut, Andy. I thought better of you than the reset button. Let's everybody get past him before he restarts. Fury into the box then. Emo Guy still hasn't pitted. Has Sooty got what it takes to catch and pass Fury then? Don't forget, Sooty and Phil was in the lead of this race before a mistake, and Fury's already leaving the pits. Emo Guy comes in. Sooty's coming through the final chicane. Fury will be up to speed in just a moment. Where is Sooty Apex? He's coming down the straight, and Fury's back up to racing speed now. Where's Sooty? He's only just coming through the exit to turn 1, so Fury has done a blinder in the pits. Maintains the lead. Phil up into P3. G back into 4th. Emo Guy still at his box. DJ Phil's up to 6th. Andy has got back going. P7 at the moment. DJ Phil and Andy not yet been in the pit box, and Emo Guy sat in the pit lane. Where's Dean? Not far off the back of Andy. That gap's 5 seconds. So Fury's pitted, Sutty's pitted, Phil's pitted, G has pitted. Emo Guy still in the pits at the moment. DJ Phil hasn't pitted. Andy's in the box now and gets caught out by the troublesome pit entry. Fury's mum's in the chat. Evening, Fury's mum. Nice to see you on the Simplay channel for a change. Welcome. Your boy's done brilliant in this second race. Dean has passed Emo Guy and Andy, so a good stop. A long stop for Dean, for Emo Guy, means that Unorthodox has got past as well. You know there's no reset button on the pad. Yeah, it is. It's the touchpad bit. That's the reset button. Found that out because I'm not on the wheel. Furious Grandad, nice one. What his mum said, so reiterating the nice one, Fury. 1.8 the gap between him and Sutty. And this, good job from Fury. We see him do well in race 2s over race 1s. And he's done he's played an absolute blinder here. 7 minutes 20 on the clock. He's about to start lap 15. And Fury leads by 1.6 from this man, Sutty Apex. Phil, currently P3, having to fend off only G again. We've seen these two battle most of these 2 races tonight. So it's been an absolute pleasure to see these guys battling on the track. And for the only G, can he get past Phil one more time? DJ Phil still to pit yet at the moment. Dean 4.2 ahead of Unorthodox and currently 9.2 off the back of DJ Phil. But DJ Phil has to pit and he's down in P9 after his pit stop ultimately. So not the best pit stop for him and has to move out the way of Phil and only G. Sutty within a second now of Fury. Where is Sutty? There he is in the background. So this for the race lead at the moment. Gap's just back over a second then. Jamie Brazy says that he only found that out the other day. Yeah, I only found it out yesterday. So you're not the only one, Jamie, who didn't realise where the reset button was. Don't worry. Come on, Fury. Jamie. Disgusted in you. Beth says, come on, Sutty. That's more like it. It's only because Gary's not here. Otherwise, she'd have probably put, come on, Gary. But oh well. Sutty, 1.4 off the back of Fury. Phil heavily defending over the only G. Andy's just warming the tyres up in the background. He's cruising. Beth is betraying Gary, Jamie, you're right, but you're betraying us. Oh, you're betraying us here. Look at the only G side by side with Phil. He's going to have to go the long way around. And is he going to get the move done on Phil, or is he going to let Phil off the corner? Side by side, G's all the way around and he's on the grass at the moment. Has he lost momentum? The car just gets a bit of a wiggle and G has done absolutely brilliant to hold that one. Has Phil got it back around the outside into the chicane here? Phil's going to have to be brave. No, he doesn't get it done. Sutty's dropped well off. In fact, Sutty's had a spin. The gap now 4 seconds between Sutty and Fury. So what a shame for Sutty Apex. DJ Phil still not pitted yet and has Dean 8.7. So Dean slowly gaining on DJ Phil then. Fury is part of Simplay Motorsport, but I think he's been picked for tomorrow night's race. I'm not sure. He is part of Simplay, you're right. So's Andy and Emo Guy. Liam Gamer's disconnected. Obviously, he retired early on, so not the race he'd have wanted. He'll be back next week in the Pro-Am category. I bet your bottom dollar he'll be pushing for another podium. Speak to him earlier, and he from what he says, he wants more podiums. He even wants that first race win, so we'll see how he can do. But Fury, 5.3 ahead of this man, Sutty Apex. G, just half a second ahead of Phil. And has Phil got enough to hashtag Sutty send one up the inside of the only G to get P3? No! Oh! G has spun and Phil took off like a rocket as he got collected there. And G, I tell you what, you just see Phil shoot up to the right. And G, away he goes after losing the rear, collects Phil. Poor Phil down P4. DJ Phil 13 seconds behind him. Dean now 7.5 behind DJ Phil Green. DJ Phil not pitted yet, don't forget. Will be a mandatory pit stop for tomorrow night. Oh, he's on the grass. He's on the grass. He's on the grass. He's DJ Phil. There's Dean Wasocki in the background, you see. 5.4. DJ Phil back on track. And has lost a lot of time there. Gap down to 5 seconds now. But for the only G, lost the rear coming through the right-hander, the quick right-hander. And into the side of Phil, normal Phil. And boom, Phil took off like an absolute rocket there then. Sutty Apex last lap 6 seconds slower than Fury. Fury has got this one in the bag. What a race he's having. I think he's watching because he's flashing the lights. Absolutely loving it. If he is watching, give us another flash, Fury, if you are watching again. Because you have drove absolutely brilliant today, bud. You are absolutely head and shoulders above the rest. There you go, he is watching, look. Head and shoulders above the rest, bud. You've been fantastic in this second race. Sooty Apex has a 12-second gap to the only G, who's got 3 seconds to Phil after Phil took off in his Sierra Cosworth. He's lapping well shit. DJ Phil's gap to Dean Wisoki's down to 3.7 seconds here. So Dean on a charge. DJ Phil not yet pitted. And we've seen him before pit really late here at Simplay Motorsport. And he's managed to jump Welsh and Stove Sloth before. Is he trying to do this again here? Where he can jump Welsh and Stove Sloth? That would be absolutely brilliant if he managed to get that one done. But for DJ Phil, he's currently P5. Sooty's got a time penalty. I don't know if that's going to affect him too much. Fury's granddad, just keep it going, Fury. Yeah, keep it going indeed, because he's been absolutely brilliant in this one tonight. Head and shoulders above the rest in this second race. And he's drove good value for his money, good clean laps. Not really seen him make too many mistakes yet. He's got 1 minute 59 remaining. He's probably got 2 more laps left in him, this one and another one. And he's 3/10 up on his best lap there, so heck of a time from him. Unorthodox gaining on the back of Dean Wisoki, so has Dean made a mistake somewhere? He's still gaining on DJ Phil, but Unorthodox really gaining on the back, Dean.
There's some tyres on in middle of chicane.
That'll be why. Unorthodox, very quick driver, took his first win at Simplay Motorsport last week. Round 12 at Bruno. And took his first win at Motive Racing last night in the Tier 2 Clio Cup competition. So by no stretch of the imagination is Unorthodox a slouch behind the wheel of a car. And we know Dean will not give up. We are giving it a good fight. Oh, he's touched the grass and gone round, so that's fight over. Unorthodox had a time penalty as well, so all Dean had to do was stay with him, but he can't touch the grass and loses the rear. Fury then starts the final lap of the race and 6/10 up on his best lap. 1:32.4 for him. DJ Phil has not yet pitted, so if this is tomorrow night, we'll be disqualified from the race proceedings for not pitting then. Good result, Dean. I mean, if you look at it on paper, DJ Phil's not pitted, so that's 6th. Yeah. Phil's not racing, so that's 5th. And I'm not sure about Fury, so that's potentially 4th at the moment. So it's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Not bad if you can come away with P4 tomorrow night. So the way tomorrow night's going to work is it's 8v8, 8 Simplay versus 8 Motive. Everybody will score points, 16 for first, all the way down to 1 for 16th place. It's a point for fastest lap, and it's the team with the most points at the end of the night will come out victorious. DJ Phil has not pitted, and therefore if he does this tomorrow night, will be disqualified from the proceedings. Excuse me, I had a sort of burp mid-sentence. Emo Guy 4.2 off the back of Dean. That's Lewis Round. He's had a bit of a torrid night, bless him. He is new to the league, and we will see him in the GT3s next week. Oh, excuse me again. But it's this man at the moment. He's coming down towards the final chicane here. Oh, he's on the grass. Get off the grass. 6 seconds he's got to Sooty Apex then. And I tell you what, I don't like our chances tomorrow if this is the way it's going to go, because Motive Racing won race 1 and they're going to win race 2, and he's already flashing his lights. He's got 2 corners to go, 1 corner to go. Nari can flash the lights. Fury wins here at Simplay Motorsport for the final time tonight in the fun event. It's going to be Sooty Apex who's crossing the line, P2. The only G whose bonnet is bouncing open. Phil's actually gained on the back of them here. And G under braking then into the chicane. After he made Phil take off like a rocket, G will claim 3rd. Phil P4. DJ Phil will take 5th, but would ultimately get disqualified if this is tomorrow night. Base, in fact, now Unorthodox has just passed him for P5. So Unorthodox right at the end has passed DJ Phil for P5 then. Fury, let's go, he says. Fury's granddad. Woo, well done, Fury. Well done, Fury, indeed, because cracking drive. Unorthodox has made a mistake, and DJ Phil is going to come home P5. Cracking drive from DJ Phil, and Unorthodox will take 6. Don't forget, if DJ Phil doesn't pit tomorrow, disqualified. Dean will come home P7. So a good drive for Dean then. Emo Guy is going to finish in 8th place. We've got Andy, who's already finished in 9th. Welch's finished 10th. Stealth Sloth has finished 11th. And we are just going to wait for Lewis to cross the line at P12. Fury says thank you. Fury's mum, well done, buddy. Cracking race. Indeed it was. Drove an absolute blinder. Did it the hard way by passing Sooty Apex. He's no easy guy to pass, his Sooty Apex. But he's done it the hard way. Oh, Lewis. Bless him. New to sim racing today. Yeah, I'm glad you did, mate. Lewis won't get to finish the race here, but we'll finish P12 nonetheless. Who set the fastest lap then? Just out of curiosity. Fury actually set the fastest lap. So Fury, fastest lap of the race. Well done to you. We lost Liam Gamer and Deeks in that one. But fantastic driving for all from the special event tonight. Join us tomorrow for the 8v8 Motive Racing versus Simplay Motorsport here at Simplay. And I do believe it will be live at Motive Racing on their channel as well. Stay tuned for that. I'll be joining the commentary box with Andy tomorrow night. It will be a 10-minute qualifying followed by a 20-minute sprint race followed by a... Where's the thing gone? It's here. Followed by a 10-minute qualifying for race 2 in which the top 8 cannot qualify. Followed by a 30-minute feature race with mandatory pit stops. Everybody scores point. There's a point for fastest lap as well. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, we thank you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to Fury and Unorthodox. Fury takes his first win at Simplay Motorsport and Unorthodox gets his second. But we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 PM GMT UK time. So tune in then. Welsh Same Track GT3s, let's go. Brilliant. So tune in then. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and good night.